What is going on YouTube, Metagaming here, and today I'm going to be talking about, or rather I should say, reacting to a video by my boy, They Hate Jacob. I know upon to this guy, we go to the same church, I go to the same church as him, and today I'm decided to go ahead and make a bit of a special episode talking and reacting about his video about why you shouldn't judge others based upon to their first looks, or to quote upon to his video title, don't judge a book by its cover. So what's gonna be going through is, well, what my reaction is and also what my perspective is about regarding the video as well. So let's begin.
You should never judge a book by its cover, meaning you should never judge someone before you get to know them. Because looks can be deceiving, man. You never know somebody until you really dive in and you get to know who they are as a person.
And I absolutely agree upon to this as well. It's also important to know that if somebody tends to look poor, they're not poor. And if they look rich, they're not really rich. I think that's also what the common belief that we people have already known about this in the first place as well. And especially where we end up continuing to judge others based upon to their own appearances, and that's obviously not even good as well. He's also right upon to this as well, especially with those who continue to make fun of people because of certain appearances, unless if, well, they probably are completely being a complete dick to other people, or completely just making it being a burden to people. Some streamers and Twitch, and or number two, they're just basically trying to be, well, just an inconvenience to others as well, especially when people continue to on to just being reckless. For example, reckless driving or reckless drivers there. That's also kind of where you also have to call them out. But I'm getting off topic. As what I was trying to say is that it's never okay to judge somebody, especially with their upon their appearance, whether they're rich, poor, white or black, male or female, whatever. It never is okay. Never. Not at all.
You know, someone could look rich but actually be broke. Someone could look homeless but actually have money. See, you never fucking know, man. People are so quick to assume things and judge based off of like looks. Like people are so judgmental. Like most people nowadays, they just look at people and assume the worst and assume their whole life without even getting to know them.
That in itself is also completely true as well, especially when people also have a tendency to also look at someone, especially when, let's say, for example, if someone decided to look at so and so person and like think upon themselves that they're better than so and so than someone else because they probably are richer, but in reality they just end up having like getting their first paycheck of $725 an hour and get paid like peanuts or something. I don't even know. Or a time when a person ends up thinking, oh, I get more play than this person because I finally get a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, or whatnot. I don't know if there's even any females even watching this video in the whole entirety in the first place. I don't know. I don't really care. But in regardless, I was trying. It's also important that, especially with how we treat each other, we always have a tendency to go ahead and try to one up one another, almost as if it's like a contest of clowns or a contest to see how much we're better than said person. And it's also coming upon to the point where we would end up hating another person and calling another person innocent, harmless, and blah blah blah, when in reality we're all sinners, we all have sinned, and we continue to sin because we idiots No, seriously, we are completely idiots without Christ as a whole. And basically, what we continue to do as well is just judge one another because apparently we can't stop worshiping ourselves with this golden calf inside of our own hearts. Yes, I am also a Christian too, and I'm never going to be ashamed out of that, nor will I ever revoke my faith. Also, post editor me here, I also wanted to say to add on here as well. Just because you are a Christian, Orthodox Christian, Presbyterian, Calvinist, Anglican, Episcopalian, Methodist, whatever, does not mean you are better than another person who isn't a Christian. Just because you wear a cross doesn't equal bearing a cross as well. Anyways, what I'm also a bit of a side tangent there as well. It's also have to consider that we cannot go ahead and casually just judge one another all because we have something that another person doesn't have. It's completely stupid, it's ridiculous, and it's also at a day, it's also stupid, completely stupid to do that. Judging is just stupid. Never judge a person because of whatever they don't have or whatever, or if somebody is trying to judge you, they shouldn't also judge you for whatever that you don't have, because at the end of the day, we're all in the same boat. Don't try to poke holes in it.
You look white, you look privileged, or you don't make no money, you're broke. Like, how would you even know that? You don't have the login to my bank. And second of all, I'm not white. Well, I am white. I'm 50% white, and I'm 50% Native American. Bet most of you didn't know that. Or maybe some of y'all do, because I've said it on TikTok live before. But anyways, see what I mean? Or people are always coming for my looks in the comments. I see that all the time. I'm like, bro, there's nothing wrong with how I look. This is how God made me.
Yes, that's actually completely true, that everyone is made in the image of God, but that also doesn't really give you the right, or give anyone the right to say, I'm made in the image of God, therefore I can do whatever I want. That's completely stupid and also very prideful upon to say as well, and pretty arrogant in all seriousness. And let's also not forget that the people that also prioritize many wrong things or any other vanities to say upon to the least as well. For example, the amount of money that they have to flex to people that they hate, to flex the supercar they have to rent so that can look good for the people that they hate, and also work for bosses and try to stick up to them even though they completely hate their jobs and their bosses as well. It's also completely demoralizing just to go ahead and just find ways to brag, even though you have basically just nothing and just slowly losing yourself into a cycle where you're kind of forced to go ahead and make a show because all for the sake of bragging about it as well.
There's no such thing as a normal person. There's no such thing as normal. It's non-existent.
Okay, so this is one of the parts I might have to disagree with. There's a somewhat of a definition between upon to a person that is actually normal than somebody that is actually a degenerate. Well, first of all, a normal person wouldn't go around trying to, I'm not gonna list upon to the degenerate acts upon to here as well, because obviously YouTube might not like that in the future. And second of all, there is actually such thing as normal, but the word normal upon to itself is a pretty broad term. It's a pretty broad spectrum of definitions of normal. Some say that, I don't know, eating green beans 24/7 is normal, or one say not eating vegetables is considered as normal, or just doom scrolling is somehow a normal for a person. It's the question upon to what I'm trying to ask upon here in this part of the video is, what is normal? Because there is a pretty broad term for the word normal here.
And bro, autistic people are smarter than the average person.
Yeah, that's a bit questionable.
You know that, right? And they have a way easier, better life than the average person. They have someone to take care of. You know, they get put with the state by their grandma or whatever to take care of them, even like through adulthood. You know, so they have an easy life. They don't have to stress about bills or anything because they have a guardian taking care of them. But yeah, man, I'm not autistic for everybody watching, and even if I was, I wouldn't give a shit.
Okay, this is also one of the things I've also been talking about over and over and over and over again. First of all, just because somebody could be autistic or in the spectrum doesn't mean that they have a quote unquote easy life. The reason why it's called a spectrum disorder and not a standard disorder is basically just because one, autism can present itself into many different ways, whether the person is actually considered by normal under societal terms or actually mentally crippled as well. For example, non-verbal autistic people can all probably end up having problems speaking, which making sounds just for the sake of communicating and have troubles communicating as well. And also it's not easy to being a autistic person as well, especially dealing with depression or even other mental health as well. And especially with kids who also have autism might not actually have the easier life. You might, just because they are autistic doesn't mean they have an easy life. They don't. And this is what I also hate about this claim as well. Just because somebody takes care of them doesn't mean that they have an easy life. No, an autistic person doesn't always have an easy life. They also might actually, in fact, may have even harder lives than an ordinary person as well, because they would end up feeling more isolated socially because they don't have anybody else to relate to, nor do they have anyone having to be friends with them or have friends as well. This is kind of a bit of a tangent over here. Yes, I know, but this is also important as well. Looking at somebody that's also considered as autistic and thinking, oh, must have an easy life is also an example of judging others as well.
So judgmental. Like, I hate to say it, appearance is everything nowadays. People only care about looks. They don't care what you've been through or where you've been. They only care about what you look like.
And unfortunately, it is very true in this modern day society where people decides to judge others based upon to their own appearance and their, let's say, their first appearances as well. And especially they will judge others based on what they wear and how they present themselves as well. I'm not saying it's bad to try to make a good first impression, but at the same time, it also comes to a point where creativity and the individual or themselves are kind of forced to be in an expectation to try to impress people that they don't like, and especially people that they hate for the sake of people pleasing, and also just to make themselves look rich for society, only then just to go back to a 9-to-5 job that pays barely nothing and living a pretty miserable life and a lot more money in debt. I don't know, like 50, 100 or 150k in debt or something.
Like, girls, bro, they look at two things. They look at your hair and they look at your feet.
Hey, yo, pause! Okay, here's one thing that this is completely bullcrap, alright? What type of person will look at somebody for the sake of their feet? That doesn't make any sense at all, because, in fact, who does that in the whole entire first place? That's like someone having a foot fetish, trying to look up feet in, I don't know, a freaking magazine or something, or like a Playboy magazine. At this point, I don't even have any words to even describe this whole entire first place. It's just absurd.
We need to be more open-minded and more open, you know, and stop being so, like, negative and judgmental.
And that in itself can also be agreed as well, especially when people nowadays always want to bicker about vanities like luxury purses or luxury cars and luxury shoes, Balenciaga, all this Nike, Jordans, and whatnot, and all the bullcrap that you're seeing within the whole entirety of this world, and all the vain luxuries that are being pushed into our modern day society as well.
People just never liked me, you know. But there's also a positive thing, you know. There's a 70% of people that gravitate towards me because I'm myself. That's why people like me, because I'm myself. I don't try to be somebody else. You know, I don't have a single tattoo on my body. I don't have any piercings. My hair is natural. My eyebrows are natural. Everything about me is natural.
Everything about me is natural. Okay, first of all, one thing. Just because everything about your face, about your physical features is considered natural doesn't really equal good person. You also have to be actually having that real, genuine comedy inside. You should also have that feeling of being this person who knows how to make people, I don't know, laugh when they're probably at their lowest of lows, and despite their situations, whether it is a really heavy family issue like a person's death or a child probably overhearing their parent divorce, or having someone being a widow for the first time in their lives as well. You also have to have that genuine personality on where you could be able to make someone be able to give them a bit of a chuckle, as well as having a genuine and real personality into it as well. You said it yourself, Jacob, that the world cherishes this fake self. They cherish all of the vanities. They cherish all of the lies that the society has been pushing there as well. But you can't just also say to the whole world and announce that, hey, I have these natural features, therefore I am a good person. This type of mentality. That is what destroys people, Jacob. And I hope you're watching this, because just with everything crazy upon the world, don't let yourself become crazy as well.
Can't please everybody, you know, and you know, I'm not for everybody. You know, some people, not everyone's gonna like you. You know, some people are gonna like you, some people aren't, and it is what it is. All you can do is just keep being you and brush them haters off, you know, and succeed, and live life the way you want to. You know, don't live for nobody else.
Some part of this mentality is absolutely correct. Don't go around trying to please the people that you absolutely hate and lose yourself in the process as well. Because there's a quote from Fyodor Dostoevsky that is said, the worst thing that you can do to yourself that is you have betrayed yourself for nothing. Without going to the further conclusion of this video, I would probably like to say this is a overall interesting video to watch through, but at the same time, I'm not really so surprised, to say the least. And going upon to do this, the only thing I have to say is that there are some things that I absolutely agree with, especially with how he wants to have you guys, especially the viewers of his channel, to not compromise on your own values and what you hold dear upon to the most as well. Live as you want to be, despite in the world of indifference. Hope you all have a good day. Let me know in the comments. Go and sub to They Hate Jacob. Metagaming out.